All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Cromwell Board of Finance to order. It is 7 o'clock. Steve, the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All right, Mr. Blanchett unfortunately can't be here tonight, so can I have a motion to seat Mr. Quigliano in his place?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the Vice Chair, second by Mr. DeProto. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approve the agenda. Tony, Sharon, we're good for tonight? It's good. Citizens' comments? Yep. Okay, we'll move right in then to the Board of Ed Liaison Report. Ms. Russ, good evening. Thanks for coming tonight. Just make sure the mic is good to go.
I think I'd know by now. Is it on? It's on. Yay. Okay, so a couple of updates for you. First is that, which I have Lynn McKinney is here to talk more about when you have questions. I know it's on your agenda. We did approve half of the cost for the new track at the high school. We had a special meeting for that. Also, I'm sure you've heard in the news, or some of you are parents, so you got the letter, that DATCO is planning to strike, and it's set for October 1st. They have not come to an agreement. Tomorrow morning, the superintendent has a meeting with DATCO regarding this, so just wanted to let you know. I have a copy of the letter that went out to parents. If anyone who hasn't seen it would like it, feel free to let me know. Let me think of what else. Our school openings all went well. The middle school hosted their tours last night, open house, whatever you want to call it, for anyone in town to attend. So unfortunately, Matt's not here to give an update on that, but I hear it's beautiful in there. I could not make it last night. And also, just to let you guys know that if you're going to hear from a Board of Ed member, it's going to come through John Ireland, because our board chair will reach out to John and say, hey, this is coming to you. Can you disperse it through your board members? So we generally don't have a board member come on their own and come out. We were not aware that it was happening, so just to give you a heads up going forward. So, any questions?
Yeah, just a quick one with the bus situation. I think
Yeah.
I saw in the letter there too that you guys are, and kindly extending kind of hours.
Yes.
Getting the doors open and
Yes.
staying late. Just because we're here, is that impacting budget stuff at all, you think, if that ends up dragging out?
We do have to pay staff
Yeah.
to be there before and after school.
And so for the middle school and high school, how early now? Because it's normally open at 7:30, right?
Yes, it's normally 7:30. It will be 7 a.m.
Okay.
ECS and WISP will be 7:45. And the high school will be open until 4 o'clock. Again, we have to staff. We can't just have students in there. We need designated staff to be there. And ECS and WISP will be, the pickup window will be till 4:45.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough on families. We fully understand that it's going to be difficult. We've asked the members of the community to fill out, they're going to send up a Google sheet asking them to fill out if you plan on using these before and after, so we have a good idea of how many people to staff. So it's going to be a challenge. We're looking at, our first priority obviously is to maintain transportation for our special needs students.
Yep.
But all of the bus companies in the area are booked. So we're in a jam, just like Middletown is. But that's our biggest challenge. Also, we have athletics to think about. So in the letter it states that you will hear for CHS and CMS what's going to happen with schedules going forward, because if this strike does happen, because we will not be able to transport our students back and forth to games and events and track meets. It is a real struggle. Obviously, our attorney is working with us on this because they're breaking contract at this point. If they strike and can't provide buses, they're breaking contract. And we are not taking that lightly. So, yeah.
I was gonna ask if there's any kind of vibe of where we things stand, but there's no way to know. I mean,
No.
yeah. And we got a week.
About that, a little less than that, a little less than that, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start this way, Chris. Good.
I guess you're sure there's no force majeure clause or anything like that in the contract? I'm not familiar with
Their
what it's in.
Teamsters union is going to strike, and there's nothing that we can do. We can retaliate with certain things, but we can't force those bus drivers to show up to work. So,
Right, cool. I was just curious because a lot of the contracts I see, there's sometimes like it makes carves out for
Yeah.
in case of strike, we're not at fault, that kind of thing.
they are 100% at fault for this, so.
Okay, well, good. All right.
DACO is on the hook for this.
All right,
so.
thank you.
Yep.
So I would suspect at a minimum, we would be looking for reimbursement for days that are not serviced.
Yeah, we'll
From
be looking
DACO.
for a lot.
Yeah.
This has taken up a lot of our time, a lot of our resources.
Right. So to the extent that we have to spend money
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
before school, after school, some of that will be
Absolutely.
made up by
Yep.
buses not being paid for
Yep.
by the school as well.
The time that it's taken for our school officials to look for supplemental buses for special needs students, and if we can for what we're gonna do, we have to work with the CIAC and with other schools to figure out our athletics. Other events that we've had buses booked for, we have to figure all of that out, so we will be looking for something from
Right.
them.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yep.
I assume we're not the only school district with this problem.
No, Middletown, I believe there might, Lynn, do you know if there's another one? There might be. There's several towns, but the, Middletown and Cromwell are taking, I believe, the biggest hit for it, so,
Really?
yep.
Huh. I thought they were a much larger factor in school bus provision in this part of the state, and really just the two of us.
I'm not sure of the other towns that are involved.
I think it's based on how the union is formed. I think
Yeah.
the union only represents.
Oh, you mean
certain-
there's subdivisions of the union?
I think
Yes,
so.
Ah.
yes.
So that company has buses, but nobody will come here?
No.
I see. Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
That's the only question I have is, are there any requirements on ratios that we need to keep, is it X amount of kids per staff that?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of those ratios, but there are.
Okay.
That's why they're looking for numbers of, we can't stick one teacher with 100 students.
right.
So,
Yeah.
that's why we're looking for a good estimate of how many people plan on using that before and after extended windows if needed. So, yeah, I know, there's 3 of you at least in here that, well, Matt's not here. I don't know, Chris, if you have kids in the school. I figured you did, but, your kids take the bus. I see them at the bus stop every day, so, yeah, they're all in all 3 different schools, so it's a hit for people like you and others, and we are fully aware of that, and we have tried to avoid this, but, we're doing the best we can. So if we could find another bus company to pick up the slack, we would, but that's not how it works. They're not just bus companies sitting around without buses being able to be used. So we understand that this is a huge impact on our families, so.
Nope, it's one of the things I say, control what you can control, so.
Yep. And
Yeah.
ironically, we asked at the beginning of the school year that anyone related to the middle school, since it's not all finished with the parking and the drop-off situation, we asked all those families to please put your kids on the bus and do not drive them, because that will eliminate a lot of the traffic, and now here we are flipping back and creating a big traffic pattern.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if this is allowed, but do we have senior vans that have capacity for handicap?
I don't know if they fit the requirements of what because our students need certain things on the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know if they fit those needs, and I don't know the rules around certifications for bus drivers.
Okay.
I like the outside the box
Yeah, I do too.
thinking, yeah.
Definitely a question I'll ask, though. that it?
Any other questions for Ms. Russ? Are you sticking around for the track bit? We're
Yeah,
gonna go right into it,
yeah,
yeah? Okay, good.
yeah.
Well, thank you for the update. I know it's been a while, so.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Hope you had a nice summer.
Yeah, I did. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks.
All right, we're gonna move on to item G. Can I have a motion for discussion and possible action to approve an appropriation in the amount of $201,570 within the CNR fund to remove and resurface the track at Cromwell High School?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the Vice Chair, second by Mr. DeProto. Mr. Town Manager, you wanna kick it off?
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
So the council was approached by the Board of Education, and I'm sure you heard initially, they asked the council to propose slightly more than what they were proposing. At any rate, the council took a vote and agreed to go 50%, of which is the number before you. And that will completely resurface the existing track and bring it back up to standards where it'll be safe to be used.
All right, I'll start with a couple of questions. Oh, by the way, just so everyone knows, Lynn McKinney is here tonight, and she will be here from the school system as well to answer any questions surrounding the items with the track and along with Ms. Russ and stuff, too, so.
There is just a couple of concerns, but initially we were told by the Board of Ed that the long jump is on the inside of the track. It's actually on the outside, so it could affect down the road at some point if we do make an attempt to enlarge the parking lot. But in my opinion, at this time, based on some of the issues that were discussed last night, I'm not sure when we're going to be able to take that project on. So my recommendation to the town council was to go forward with resurfacing the existing track. And I believe it also includes the long jumps, one inside and outside of the track.
All right, so I've got a couple things really quick, and then I'll turn it up to everybody. A couple of pages in on the packet here, there's a section that talks about alternate prices, and then it talks about price does not include. I'm assuming that with what we're considering tonight, it's the top box, the 382,800, and then the 20,340 for the gray zone exchanges?
That's
Is that-
correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The items A through H on the bottom, do we have any major concerns about any of that, or is that just there in case something pops up?
I'm gonna have to, I thought Claudio was supposed to be here tonight.
I know, I believe he's traveling.
Yeah, because he initially got these quotes and provided the information. So I'm not really clear, other than this is supposed to be the hard number for the resurfacing.
Okay. Okay. Please, come on up. I don't know if you have anything, do you have something to add to that, or?
Maybe you can address that?
I was just gonna say, yeah, Claudia and I worked on this, multiple times, and this is, a standard clause. They do not foresee anything. They've walked it 3 times from the initial quote until just recently, about 2 weeks ago, and they don't feel that they're missing anything. Because even looking at the track from underneath it, you can tell where things buckle like roadways. So he's looking at it saying he sees nothing that would give any indication of anything more underneath it, and that the standard price does not include as what goes on all of their quotes.
And assuming that if this does move forward this evening, obviously I think the intent and the goal would be to start this project once the current school year ends.
Correct.
And we feel good from a timeline perspective that if they do it in June, it could be done by August,
Correct. I confirmed with him today a 3 to 6 week.
3 to 6 weeks. Okay.
So the problem, the reason why we're here before you tonight and the council already was the fact that once we give notification, we get put on the list, and we're looking to get on it as soon as possible.
Oh, 100%.
For the next season. So we're trying to give them notice now that we're ready to go.
I'm gonna ask one more logistical question, then I'll turn it over to others. in the motion that was made, this might be a question for you, Sharon. We've got it, the 201,570 within the CNR. And if I take a look later in the packet, the CNR's got 205 or something like that?
Yes, I closed a bunch of projects this month,
Okay,
and added that back to the CNR balance, and the reconciliation is in there when I closed.
yep,
Because otherwise we wouldn't have had enough money.
right.
to go through the project.
But this would essentially bring it down to,
Yep,
so we'll have to figure out how to address that later on.
if other projects come up for CNR.
Yeah. Okay, all right, just want to bring that up to start. Mr.
Follow up on one of the things that you just
Sure.
asked about, just so, to get a final. On this list of things that are not included, B says, this does not include the design and implementation of a stormwater pollution prevention plan. That is certainly different than saying it indicates that it does not require one of those. Is that what that is supposed to be telling us, or simply that we're not paying for it in here?
We're, in my opinion, we're paying for the resurfacing of the track.
Right, but obviously, if a stormwater pollution prevention plan is required,
And we'll be back, I would assume.
well, and we certainly would want to do that first, I would think. Since it would be underneath the track.
That was one of my concerns also, to make sure that if we needed to get into the field, that any conduit would be, provided at this time, because we're not gonna go back and rip up the track. And
So what I think I'm hearing is, we are unclear as to whether a storm prevention plan is needed or not. We're talking about going forward before we clarify that.
Well, we did do a study previously, and, I'll go out on a limb if I remember, what John Harriman, our town engineer, we're not aware of any that has to be done. Do you remember that? Yes.
I do, I remember John saying. Sorry. I do remember there was an assessment done at the CHS field just inside the track and with the lacrosse and soccer field, that there is the drainage is good, there's nothing to do. They tested the soil and drainage and everything was okay. That was what
And that
John
was recently?
Harriman's study had shown. So that's why we don't anticipate needing a water pollution, what item B
Well,
that's listed here.
who would be the one dictating that? Would that be the state? Would that be the company that? Or is this, like you said, if this is just a standard language they put on all their stuff, then they're probably just, it's CYA instead of implying anything in here. Am I looking at it from that angle?
I would be shocked if this company came out and walked the field 3 times and doesn't tell us that, hey, you probably need to do this. Like, that's pretty standard for these. And they're one of the, the recommendation of this company came from a consortium. So they're recommended by state and other
Correct.
CREC schools. So they're usually extremely good at what they do, so.
Okay, so at this time, through the research that was done, looks like both through the town engineer and through the vendor that is looking at this, that item on there should not apply. And just like any other letters that are on there, if something were to come up, they're just, again, it's a CYA.
To the best of my knowledge, we're not anticipating drainage to be.
Got it. Okay.
If I could. There's a lot of ifs and assumptions in all of those statements we just heard in the last 2 minutes. I think somebody else said something, I think they would have told us if they meant something. What I'm looking for is someone, anyone, the town attorney, the contractor, anybody, to say, no, you don't need any drainage improvements at this time. I'm not seeing that, and although I'm sure people are not lying to us, I really don't particularly feel comfortable relying on people's recollections of things that other people said in context that were not.
How about, if it goes forward tonight and is approved, I have my office check and get those assurances, or I give you the assurance that if that is not clear, and, there's the possibility that drainage is required, then the project will not go forward.
And if I could just add, it is a track resurfacing, not an installation. So they're not doing anything but taking the top layer off and putting this one on. So there's no reconstruction of the existing track.
Yeah, we're not
So we're not
impacting the
looking
base,
at-
we're not,
Correct,
Yeah.
so,
okay. All right, but Tony, your point's well taken, and,
The base,
But we
the
can-
base is good.
Yeah.
And it's just the resurfacing of the track.
well, thank God, because if it wasn't, this would, instead of 400, it'd be 2.4, wouldn't it?
You know, as we said last night, there's a variety of places in the town that have had long-standing problems with drainage. I personally have no idea whether this is one of them or not. I assume it's not, but we do have land on Board of Education sites that do require it. So I'm not in a position to assume that it doesn't cost, it's not a problem with just an assumption. So, okay.
Mr. Fidelli, if you want to,
Sure, just two questions. What's the useful life of the track? How long do we think it will last?
the resurfacing piece?
Yeah.
6 to 10 years with proper maintenance.
Okay.
how old's the current one?
Really old.
Okay.
But it has been serviced over the years.
It had,
I
yeah,
think in
okay.
2015, there was a budget line item for 8,000 to resurface somewhere around 2015, so 10 years ago.
Sorry.
It's kind of no different than the tennis courts.
Sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
No, it's okay. And kind of the second question I just had, just from the proposal, like, I noticed it's through CREC. Like, how did we get into that CREC pipeline for this, but, like, we don't see this for other projects?
But this is a consortium that they went to.
I believe Claudio reached out to Craig from prior jobs through the Hartford school system.
Mhm.
And he knew
It's
of
interesting
Field
to
Turf
see that we
as
could
a reputable
tap that.
company.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Why don't you just adjust your agenda and discuss that now before you take a vote on it?
Well, let's continue with questions, you know what I mean, we got people here, let's continue this line of thinking, and then we can figure out how we want to approach it. Mr. Kelly?
Just alternative two, concrete perimeter, what are we giving up by not moving forward with that? I don't really understand what that is.
It's concrete, perimeter curb, right?
On the track? I mean, I know what that is. What's a concrete perimeter? I've never seen
It's exactly as it sounds.
a curb.
The curbing around is fine in order to save the alternative two. We could fully renovate if the cost were not an issue,
So you could fully renovate.
which means taking the resurface off and then redoing around the curbing piece. So when you look at the track, it goes from the grass, there's a bit of a curb, and then
Right.
the track starts, it's that curbing.
So it's that
But it's
inside circle elevated kind of piece.
Right.
Oh, inside circle, okay. And so you're just leaving what's already there, is
It's
that what you're
in-
saying?
Yes.
I gotcha. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Hi, Lynn. In terms of the maintenance of the track, and I realize the one that's there is long beyond, I can't remember what's been changed over many years and all, but when this one gets done, is there like followed up like an annual maintenance program for this then, to try to extend the life, or how does that work, or who does, do we do that ourselves? Do they have to come back and do it, or?
There
like
is
some-
an annual inspection as part of the preventive maintenance, and I don't know all the details on how to care for a track going forward, but we would take that on as the grounds in the LEA, and use that as part of our 424 budget line item to do a PM service annually.
And then Tony, like, I know, like, you can't predict all the future, but I guess if we have to get inside that field area to do something, we'll have the track resurfaced. I realize we try to do the best we could to cover it and do whatever so we wouldn't destroy it, but does that concern you at all, that,
No,
is there,
they're gonna have to start using covering when they go across the track.
do we have the right covering so we can protect the track going forward?
If we don't have the right covering, we'll make sure we get the right covering, because, we will have to get across it to do, mowing and maintenance of the soccer field on the inside.
And just an added note, during a recent Fields and Structure Committee meeting, which we held last week with Lou Spina, Scott Karras, we did discuss, Claudio made mention that he's got his sights set on these ramps that go up from the outside curb, come in to the inside curb so that mowers can get across.
Well, I guess I'm gonna piggyback off that real quick, is, quite frankly, my concern becomes, we get that brand-new track put in there, and then at night, kids are riding stuff on it and doing all, I mean, do we have any plan or any kind of preventative or something there that keeps monitors or be able to find out people who are out there intentionally doing something that might end up ruining it, or, I mean, do we have any recourse with that?
I guess there's a potential that we could put it under video monitoring. I don't believe it is.
So we discussed this at our last Board of Ed meeting, and we agreed that we would like signage, big signs put up there. We did discuss potentially putting a video camera up there, talking to the police department, asking them to check through during regular times where people go through, asking the public to, I know it's kind of a big thing, but asking the public, if you see this, please let us know. There are areas where they can get in more easily than others, and we've talked about ways to obstruct those areas. And also we are, because if you go, you see that we have the little portable bleachers that get pulled over and put on the track so that they can watch soccer and lacrosse games. We're gonna put bleachers on, this has always been the plan, put bleachers on the outside of the track and secure them like we did around the baseball field, so that we don't have people coming in and sitting on the track to watch sporting events anymore. So,
That's with the concrete slabs out there for, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yep.
Yep.
And Mr. Spina, the public works director, is up to speed and has met out in the field, with Claudio regarding this and other projects.
As far as trying to protect them going forward, or just, you just saying in general?
In general,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that'd be the big thing for me, is that, you know, this is,
probably
this,
the best thing is to look at putting, a camera on it.
yeah, I mean, if we were to, I mean, you're talking about signs, you're talking about camera, I don't know what all that are gonna add up to.
Signs are great, but,
Well, where I'm going with it is, if we're gonna look to potentially do some things to try to, you know, hold people accountable or try to do some preventative piece, I just didn't know if there's something on this we needed to tack
If we're gonna
on.
hold people accountable, the signs are a necessity. If we're gonna try to, discourage putting a sign up, with, that it's under, video surveillance, it's even better. It will also, in the event that there is damage caused, help, law enforcement, identify who, anybody caused damage.
So if tonight we're passing, I'm just talking out loud right now, 201,570, if we made it 204,570 to put and invest some money into be able to doing those things, would that make sense tonight? I guess that's my question.
Well, I haven't got any, I'm not aware of any, prices that were
Okay.
received. I would hold off and, we can look into that and get back to you.
We got time, I get it.
Because we have a number of, video cameras throughout the town, you know, under pavilions and other areas that we have a lot of concern about. And, we could take a look at this. I can have Parks and Grounds also, who, has extensive knowledge with, the, areas that we have under video monitoring.
I think I appreciate that.
Their biggest concern is getting
I was gonna ask, I'm not totally clear what we're talking about preventing. Is it
People ride their
bikes on the track?
Yes.
Not townspeople using the track?
No, not people
Okay.
going out there to walk around on the track. We're okay with that. It's people, as long as it's not during school hours, but it's people coming with bikes and everything, and and dirt bikes they bring, and they ride them on the track, and it ruins our track. So we talked to other towns about the problems with it. Rocky Hill has had a lot of issues with it, so they've found ways around, so that's why we've been discussing it with other towns.
So,
This is a very historic track. Bill Clinton ran it.
so I will tell you that Josh LeMay worked with our evening custodians at the high school. So at the after evening sports, where the gates are open for participants to come in and those that are watching, to lock those gates. They're gonna be a two-way communication. So as Catherine said, there's that passway through which we can't really block, but we can lock the gates. So we're starting to do even now before the refinish, to try to keep and prevent the e-bikes. And a go-kart actually was caught on the track. So we're trying to prevent that, and this is what they've just implemented this week, starting tonight. So they'll two-way with our head custodians, or the custodian on site, and then he'll come out and padlock the gates, two of them.
I'm just curious, I mean, many of us use the track, kind of familiar with it. I'm just curious, what makes it so that it can't be patched, or that's an undesirable option?
They looked at it and they said it's beyond that type of repair.
Do you want an answer? Go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say, it has deteriorated past the point of patching, because there's so many spots, and once you patch something, it becomes better than the rest. So now it's not only aesthetically not working, but you've now taken the weakest parts and made them the strongest, and left the weakest to continue to bear the brunt of the track sports.
And correct me
You
if
can
I'm
add
wrong,
anything.
sections of it are actually lifting.
Well, they're
They're separating.
You can lift lane 4 completely. I have 3 kids that have run on that track, have done track as a sport, and it's horrible. It's getting to a point where it's starting to feel unsafe for a lot of our student athletes. It's uneven. When you're walking, it feels fine, but when you're sprinting or hurdling or running a relay on that track, it is not a pretty thing these days. So it's really, really uneven, very bumpy, and it's easy to fall or twist an ankle and injure yourself on there.
So it's not necessarily just what's the obvious defects, like, because those are anyone who walks around I can see. So there's something underneath, and okay.
Well, as you're running it, you can.
It's probably lost its bounce.
Yep.
Or its ability to absorb the shock.
So you run on that track, then you go run on a track that's in workable condition. You're like, wow, look what I'm missing out on.
Well, I guess the tell sign for me was when I asked how long the track's supposed to be. I don't know who asked it, how long it's supposed to last for, and it was 6 years or whatever. I lived in town for the last 11, 12 years, and this will be the third one. So I just, I'm just taking it off of that math that it's,
So if this
yeah.
is not repaired, eventually it's gonna come down to where Cromwell High School will not be able to use it.
Yeah,
or-
no,
Or
it's-
host matches or train on it.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Awesome, thank you. I had another question. I'm just kind of curious, when you look in the, I guess it's the payment schedule in the back, talks about how it's 50% upfront, then 40% when they ship stuff to us, and then 10% when it's substantially complete. So they're looking to get a lot of money before they ever even set foot on the property. I'm just kind of strange to me. Is that normal?
It's been normal in other areas that I've dealt with.
All right,
Can
cool.
I'm just gonna speculate on that real quick, just add to it. Part of the reason that we're doing this tonight is in order to make sure we get on the list and get ahead of the game to make sure we're lined up for June. I gotta imagine these guys pretty much operate June to August kind of thing. So I'm assuming their terms might be just correlated to, we wanna make sure you're serious, we wanna make sure you're doing this, because if we get all these jobs lined up and then it all falls through, they're gonna be behind their competitors and stuff. So it's just when I saw that was just my assumption, but
Seems reasonable.
I
just-
I don't wanna say this for certain, but that was my assumption.
It's like, to me, that if I had a contractor, there's no way I'd be like, forget it, man. But anyway, that's, all right, thank you.
my questions are around the funding, so I don't know if we wanna.
Okay, well, we'll kick it back around then. You good? You good?
I guess I did have the larger question, which is, we've heard a lot about all these things we were gonna do over at the high school, and, then this one appears, in isolation. So where are we with the larger question?
Well, because, planning and zoning, denied allowing, the existing site to be made into the football field, it would require, extensive, renovations, to possibly consider moving, the facility into the center, of the area, which would cost actually millions more.
Right, when you say the facility, which facility?
Meaning the track, the field, which would accommodate, football, soccer, lacrosse.
Okay,
So that would have to go into the center of the field, and then the other fields that are presently there, if there's sufficient room, then put on the outside, let's say between the track and the residential neighborhood, and maybe
Yeah.
one on the other side. It depends, but at this point, and then, of course, the plan was to, demolish the tennis courts, expand the parking lot to accommodate more parking,
Right.
and then move the tennis courts at some point in the future, to the, northwest, side of the property. And that's pretty much everything that was proposing to be done at some point.
Well, what I'm saying is, at one point, we were looking at a project which was, I'm picking a number out of the air, $10 million to do 15 different fields. And move this here and, build this there and blah, blah, blah. It could have been 3 million, it could have been 300 million, I don't know what it was. It was a lot. Now we're being, presented with, nope, we want to do the track, leave it in place, we're doing this.
So the
Is
short
that
answer-
it,
yeah,
or
well,
are
the-
we?
The answer is, again, based on last night, what you heard, and the money that we have put into Pearson Park, and other demands, in the community in the form of drainage and other things, and the likelihood of being able to put some type of sports complex there in the near future is highly unlikely. So, that's why we invested what we invested on the football field, the old mechanics, garage, and making that into a field house, team rooms. And then, this would be part of it by, bringing the track back up to, full standards of being able to be used for at least another 6-7 years without having to have any type of maintenance done to it.
So, again, coming to the rest of it, we are not anticipating from the Board of Ed any request for a new football field or any request for a change in the track and whatever associated aspects there are over there for at least 6 years. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm not on the Board of
I don't
Ed,
think
so
you're gonna hear
I can't answer
that kind
that
of
question.
Well, I'm trying to get a sense of, it is not unusual in this town for us to get, oh, here's the $200,000 thing we need this month, and next month, here's the $500,000 thing we need, and then 3 months from now, oh, here's this other $300,000 thing we need. And I'm not pointing at the Board of Education, I'm saying in any of the, it is not unusual for us to get these things piecemeal instead of at one time. And I'm just trying to get a sense of what are we looking at in the totality of that parcel of land, that larger parcel of land associated with the high school.
So there's the group that consists, I believe, of some board members, Claudio, Dr. Macri, some people from the town, Tony, I believe, is on it, and some of you about what our projects are, because we had the study done about what's priority. The track has been an issue for a while. We didn't do anything in the hopes that we would be able, as Tony said, to put in a football field at the high school. That is not going to happen without it costing an exorbitant amount of money. We just put a new school in. We don't see that happening. So the track is something that we need to fix. If we don't get it fixed, like he said, we're not going to have a facility for our students. And we don't anticipate any major questions outside, we have our list. We have that big capital projects list that we've gone through, but the track has always been an issue, and we knew that. And this seems like the perfect timing to get it done and have it usable for us for the foreseeable future.
I guess those of us who were at the meeting last night, trying to figure out how we're gonna pay for the school we just built, let alone the ones that are coming, would suggest that this is perhaps not the greatest time in the world to be spending more money, but that's different, that's a different question
Yeah.
from whether we need to fix the track or not.
We're,
But I wouldn't say it's the perfect time, no.
for us, actually, because we
There's never
don't
gonna
want
be
to
a
go
perfect
without a track team. We don't want to tell our student athletes, you can't do track. It's
Yeah.
one of the most inclusive sports
Yeah.
that you can have, and there's an exorbitant number of kids that do it between middle school and high school. And to tell them that we can't have it because we don't have a workable, usable track in a couple of years is
Yeah,
I
no,
guess
that's
what-
not,
I guess what I'm saying
not
is,
feasible.
I understand that. I would be, I guess, very unhappy if 2 months from now, it's like, oh, the tennis courts are really important, we gotta fix those, or we gotta move the soccer field, or whatever. I realize that we're not getting everything here. But although there may be a group out there who's having discussions about what we ought to do, I haven't seen a report from that group that includes this or anything else. I mean, they may be talking about it, but that's different than having completed their work and made a report, I think, because I certainly haven't seen one. So I am looking for a question, an idea of what is the totality of what they're looking at, not what is each piece. We need to, at some point, make a decision about how much can we afford for all of it, whatever all of it is. So, just concerned about
Well,
that.
the next major item, would have been parking.
Yeah,
I don't, do we have the number, we have the number on that somewhere?
I don't have it. It's
To
not
expand.
there in my.
I'll say this much, my recommendation is that, at this time, we would, in the near future, we would not, look at a sports complex at the high school. We put lights, down at Pearson Park for the football field. We've invested, in the surrounding area. We invested in the building down there so they can, do post-season. We, meet the league's requirements. We put, the additional parking, when we purchased the land, on Community Field Road. We put, 60-some-odd additional parking in the back now. We made a lot of investments, to that park. I don't see, football leaving that area, anytime soon, at least. It would have been nice if we had $10 million laying around, to build a sports complex at the high school. Unfortunately, at this time, I just don't think, with all the other needs of the community, that's likely.
okay, and I'm just saying, that sounds great, I'm gonna rely on that. But if there is a group that's out there that has thought this all through and has come to a conclusion as to what we ought to do, it would be good if they shared that with people in writing some way.
I believe he's talking, Sharon, about our group that gets together with the schools.
Well, whatever, Ms. Keller.
Yeah, long range capital planning.
Capital planning?
The one, yeah.
Was that it, or was there a special group
No.
relating to
No,
this?
It's
no.
just a group of,
Committee. I think, are you
been
I
disbanded.
don't know, I'm not thinking of anything because I'm unaware of this happening.
Not long range, long range capital. We have capital.
John and Steve are on the
No,
committee.
Unlike
I-
capital planning, this is long range capital planning.
Whatever, I thought I had just heard that there was a group that was
Steve, what do we call it?
specific.
You're on.
No, no, I know what that,
Bail me out here.
I know what,
Yeah, it's a tri-board, it's the same tri-board.
Tri-board.
right, but
Yeah,
I didn't
let's-
think, I thought that you
Hold
were
on.
saying that there was an actual specific group that was looking particularly at this
No,
issue.
not the ones that's looking at the field for the high school. That has been disbanded once it's voted down by planning and
They
zoning.
didn't go back and say,
No, they said, and that
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
that was made up of town members and
Right.
some were on the Board of Ed.
Right.
I was on it. But when that got voted down, that was it. That was the end of the committee. They're no longer.
oh, okay,
So it's been a couple.
so we don't have a plan, in other words. I mean, we had a plan.
We have
and
a
it-
plan.
Yeah, we had a plan and
but
it got
that's not
knocked
the
down.
plan, so.
Right, okay, well, okay, thank you.
Actually, we do have a plan. We went back to planning and zoning, and we showed everything remaining, where it is. That was adopted by the council, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
So pretty much everything the way it is, the changes that demolishing the tennis courts, expanding the parking, and potentially someday moving tennis courts over, to the, what I would consider the northwest side, of the field, is what we're looking at.
After we build the new elementary school and the senior center and the community center.
Okay, let's keep on,
Okay.
let's
yeah.
keep on topic here. Okay. Any other questions about the track?
Just want to confirm, it says, someone wrote in here, 6-year warranty, is that,
That's accurate.
okay, thank you.
One of our board members had a question about the warranty, so.
Okay, if we're done with questions around the track, the feedback that I seem to be getting is, and I don't know if I can do this appropriately or whatever, but it sounds like hypothetically, we want to table this. Go ahead. Okay, we want to somehow take this vote, delay it for a second, make sure that we get an update from the town as far as where we are financially first. Is that a general consensus? So, now I'll ask, how do we want to move forward with it? Go ahead.
Second.
Well, I think we would, okay, well, the motion was seconded. I was just saying, we're just gonna do the whole finance director update. That way, we knock it all out, and then, now, if I'm moving around agenda items, though, that's appropriate, we're allowed to do that?
That's why I'm making a motion.
I just wanna make sure I'm following all the,
You can make a motion to move that other item up above,
okay.
if you wish, and then come back and vote on this after.
Well, we have a motion on the table to, pass this temporarily and go right into the, so would we have to circle back and vote on it again?
Yes? You're only doing it temporarily.
We'd have to come back.
Okay. All right, is there a discussion around doing this temporarily?
Why don't we just move the agenda item down, like, that seems more normal? I
You
don't
can amend the motion on the table.
know if there's an advantage, is what I'm asking.
You have a second on that?
Yeah, Mr. Quigliano.
This is very simple, we pass temporarily, we move on to something
Fine.
else.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Well, we gotta circle back on it, right?
We're just moving around the agenda.
Well, no, we,
This, all we just voted to do was to pass this item temporarily.
Go past it.
Pass.
P-A-S.
okay. The confusion became, when you said pass, it meant like go, like actually give it the green light. Okay. Ms. DeValle, come on down. I don't think you'll get any questions tonight. All right. If you can, why don't you please provide us with your overview to start? Maybe that'll prevent some questions or you answer some things, and then we'll open it up.
Okay, in your packet are fiscal '25 and '26 budget reports through the end of August. I have no concerns about '26. '25, I'm anticipating like a slight surplus, about $1 million. And as you all are aware, the Board of Ed came in at 577, 571 positive. September is a busy month in my office. We are mid-audit, and we are trying to get them all the final information so we can keep moving along on that. And I am currently finishing the information for the town's official statement, which we are planning on posting on 9/30. I don't know if everyone saw, but I did a CNR reconciliation. I closed some projects, about 97,000, and added that balance back to the CNR. There's a reconciliation behind the CNR page. It's this. So it's all the projects that got closed. So that added back into the CNR, which gives us a $207,000 balance. $207,747.
All right. Can I ask a few questions first? Or do you have more? You good?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. Just because this is the first year of it, I'm taking a look at the Muni's revenue for '26. Okay. The very top with the investments line, can you just walk through how that reads or goes, just with the negatives and the,
Where are you? I'm sorry, John.
so I'm on the year-to-date budget report for 2026. It's in the right-hand side, it says the remaining revenue.
Oh, so that's
Okay.
that's what I need to get to hit budget.
Right. I'm just saying, so the top line is investments, and then the second one is investments note. I just want to make sure we're reading
Oh, you're on the
those
miscellaneous
lines.
sources.
Is that, yes, miscellaneous sources, I
Okay.
apologize, yes, it's right there, I'm sorry. Yeah, under miscellaneous.
I just want to let everyone know, you see with the line item that says investment note,
Yes,
and we've made 726,000. That account is now at 28,000, so you are not going to have those interest payments anymore for that.
okay. So that was part
That
of
was
my,
okay. Yes.
okay.
We have spent that money.
So 700K went out the door.
Well, we spent the whole, yes, we,
On the report,
yes, we drew down the accounts,
okay,
that account.
okay. My second question is for the revenue now on 25, okay? The bottom right, the remaining revenue says 138,049. 100%, 100.2%,
Yep,
okay? So you mentioned the million, right? That was surplus from the previous year, right? That's a combination of this 138 and then the savings on the expense side? Am
yes.
I- Yes,
And, yes, so I did make some notes on this.
okay,
Let me pull them for you. So,
so if you take a look at
On page 1, 2025 revenues, right?
the bottom right, it should say 138,049?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just asking about that being an overage from the past fiscal year and how that ties into the
So-
$1 million item that Sharon was
I
talking
did
about.
a budget variance, and, revenue actually came in a tad short, and most of that was due to the ECS grant. The Board of Ed files a report in October, and they pulled back about $66,000 from our ECS grant this past year. But, of course, we had strong investments, strong transfer station revenue. Let's see, building permits were extremely strong for fiscal year '25. And for the town clerk, conveyance taxes were extremely strong. On the expenditure side, public safety came in positive, and that was due mainly to vacancies. And Public Works also was positive, and a lot of that was, we had a lot of top step, employees retiring, and we replaced them with lower step employees. Legals came in, positive. We are, most of our tax appeals has been settled, and our workers' comp was lower than anticipated.
So if we're on the expense report then, right? If I go to the back of that, there it says available budget 1.7.
So you have to keep in mind, and I think I explained this to you on the phone, John?
Keep going.
Yeah, so on the expenditure side, there's the 3.4 million that is in legal expense. But what I needed to do was, that is not a general fund expenditure, because we had taken out the whole 5 million. So I took out the 3.4, but I'm bringing back the 2 million. So the net, so the 5 was already out of your fund balance.
Yep.
So even though the 3.4 is on your expenditure report, it's not really an expense because it was already taken out.
It was already allocated and
Yes, it was already,
planned for and
Yeah.
put elsewhere.
the 5 million was already out. And if
Okay.
you notice on the fund balance report, I did add in the positive 2 million with the interest for the Gilead.
That's the 2,053,938
Let me,
total additions.
yes,
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, 938.
and it
Yep.
does say Gilead next to it,
Yep,
yeah.
up top, yep, further up. So the reason I ask is I want to
Yes,
get
just
that out
because you and I had
now.
that conversation.
That way it's kind of known so that when people are trying to tie a million and they're seeing higher numbers.
Yes,
Okay. All right, and then you walked through the CNR piece already.
Yeah.
So, all right. I will shut up now and I'll go this way. Chris?
On the CNR reconciliation there, the 207, are there projects that are still in there that are earmarked for that 207, or is that 207?
no, that's the available CNR balance.
Okay. And then, on the Board of Education unexpected funds, the 577,
Yes,
is that earmarked for anything?
we have no control over that. A state law was passed, that is the Board of Ed's money.
So, that category there, okay. The other half of the track, Ms. Ross, I think I'm saying that appropriately, is meant to come out of there.
Yep.
Okay. It used to be that the group would come before the Board of Finance. We would either make a decision on, hey, take it and use it for capital expenditures, or we would take it back for a certain degree, whatever. There, it was 1 year ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah,
They
they
made
had
the
that public
change,
back.
Yeah.
and now it goes into an account that they can then run with. To your point, I believe it is something that we keep tabs on. So, but yes, the idea is that the track,
Yes.
the track is gonna be coming out of
John,
that.
it was agreed to that, it resides at the town, and we set up a separate fund, for those funds. It is a separate fund, but it is in the town's hands.
So I understand then, Sharon, that you don't have any control over that. So if the other 200 is coming out of there, what's the other 307 earmarked for it? Can anybody answer that, or?
This is the, this is the first year that, yeah, this is the first year that anyone has seen this much come through. We have been told by the state of Connecticut that their reimbursement rate was going to be significantly lower than what it was, than they actually ended up providing to us, which is how we ended up with a higher balance this year. We had significantly less homeless population in the past couple of years. We've had pretty high, over $100,000 at one point, I think 2 years ago that was, homeless rate that we were paying. It's for transportation for our homeless population. It's defined under the McKenna-Venti Act. It's not exactly what you might think it is as a homeless, but at any rate. And we've had significantly less need for, or we did last year, which has already changed for this year, for special education, transportation, and one-on-one paras and special education teachers to be used one-on-one with students in SPED. So those, we are keeping close eyes on that. one of the reasons why we thought it was good to do the track is to use some of this money. Some of our board members felt that they were concerned about spending too much because we know we're always in a bad position at the end of the school year. So they're hesitant to spend it on too many different things, but putting a track in is definitely a high priority for us.
Hey, Sharon. 'Cause I just want to pick up something John had said, make sure I understand this. I think I have it right, but make sure. The investment note, that $726,000,
That's the interest we've.
that's
made so
revenue,
far.
right? So that's money that's come into.
Yeah, that's our revenue,
correct,
yes,
yeah,
but
okay.
like I said, we've drawn down.
And the
balance.
source that's generating that is now down to $28,000,
Yes.
right? We've spent, I don't know, millions of dollars, right, on the school, which makes sense, of course, right? Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was clear on that. And then, and I know until the audit's done, I know we don't know the final number for
The
how
fund
the
balance
year
number,
will
yeah.
end. But I think, I'm sorry, Sharon, I'm just trying to get the pages there. There it is. So like on the revenue page for 2025, sort of the total, month 13, so to speak. And I know we've gotten slippery slope with this, so I'm not gonna try to do this, but if I just ignore the fund balance line at the bottom of that page, I think that those numbers then add up to about 2.2 million favorable. Because we were good on the town's clerk office, the tax collector was almost $500,000, miscellaneous other stuff, and then the miscellaneous sources, the income stuff, was 1.5 million. So in those categories, without the fund balance in the discussion, we're about 2.2 million favorable.
Yeah, because when I do my
Roughly.
report, I don't use that, fund
Yep.
balance number.
Okay, yep, okay. And then I know John was going in the expenses, and I'm not gonna try to belabor it too much, but again, it was a pretty good year, just the way things work out. You budget as best you can. If things work out favorably, so be it. And the school aside, the town, without the school, is about 1.1 million favorable, just from a pure expense page, I think, right?
We're probably behind in balancing with them.
Say
There's
there's
a little
still-
more
Yes.
closing
Yeah.
things,
Yes,
blah, blah,
so
blah.
that 577 number is their final number, and we
That's
have
final.
balanced since then, and we
Sure.
probably posted that in September, because they still had September
Okay.
transactions.
Okay, all right, so that's good, though. Okay, good. I think that's it. Thank you.
I'm just back to the 577 number, so if you can give me a second here. I'm just trying to understand, so that's a surplus generated from last year, underspending,
Yes.
and
So
so what is the use of that money? Is it capital use, or is it to cover like operating shortfalls in this year's budget? I mean, when you say we're worried about spending the money
right.
because things happen, is that the
Right.
intent of
No,
not giving the money back to the, I know it's saved by this Board of Ed, but
Right.
what's the purpose of that?
the purpose is to,
Are
like
you
I
having
said,
ongoing discussions about other capital expenditures right now?
Right.
About how you would spend the $300,000?
right. So we have discussed, we've already talked about what it's going to be used for. Every year, we budget as best we can. We do the best that we can. And every year, we freeze a budget at some point to not allow items to be purchased for student use. Our students end up going without, is what happens. We don't want that to happen this year. Last year was the first year, and since I've been on the Board of Ed, it's been 6 years, that they have not had to freeze the budget. And it is also the first year we've ended up with this amount. Like I said, we were budgeting based on what the state told us our reimbursement rate was going to be, which is like I don't even understand the full calculation. We've looked at it. I couldn't give it justice to try and explain it. That would be a Chris Butwell question. But they did end up giving us a much higher reimbursement rate than we were told, which is what made the
I
difference.
understand how you got to the point. I'm just trying to understand
So
the use
we
of the
are, we are looking at the money and using it, like I said, we're gonna use it for this track. We're looking to see, probably gonna have to use it for a lot of this busing stuff that we have until we can come to an agreement with DATCO. But we do need the funds now to deal with that. and I don't know what's gonna fall out with DATCO if they do go on strike. We have had, more students move in to the district that require special needs.
So you're already thinking that the budget that we provided to you is
We-
not gonna be sufficient?
We're not sure. We're not
So
sure.
you're keeping this in reserve
Sort of, yes.
in case
Yes.
that the budget that we provided to
We
you
don't wanna have to freeze our budget this year.
is not sufficient?
Yep,
That's how you're using this money,
yes.
this $300,000? Interesting, okay.
Can I ask a follow-up to that, David? So it's kind of a question back to the track.
Yeah.
If the board did not approve the track tonight, would that 577 be used to pay for the track?
I don't know.
Okay.
I cannot speak on behalf of all of the Board of Ed.
Dan, you good?
I'm good, thank you.
So many questions. Okay, so Sharon, at some point during your presentation, you said the Board of Ed made a report previously in the year, and there was a reduction in,
ECS, yeah, that's
ECS.
what I got from Chris Butler.
could you expand
It
on
was
that?
based on their enrollment numbers, but I don't file the report, I don't see the report. I just got that we didn't, so our last payment was reduced. So I had to call him and ask why it was reduced, and he sent me, the site, and it just said it was reduced by like 66,000 something, and I asked him why, and he said they file a report due on, something on enrollment. I don't really know that much, I'll be honest, about the ECS calculation.
It's one of our biggest,
Right,
sources of
but, so,
income.
they file a report, and this is the first year that I know that it's been reduced.
Well,
I
it
mean,
was-
I can
it
ask
was-
him some more information if you would like.
Yes, definitely. And let's move on from that. Okay, so when did you first know this?
When I was balancing the revenue, yes.
So like
I asked
8
him a
months
few,
later?
no, I asked him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but the report that changed this was last October.
Right, but I didn't know about it
I
until
know
I
you
left.
didn't know about it.
No, our
That doesn't
last
mean
payment
no one knew
wasn't
about
made
it.
until the spring, late spring. So I wouldn't
No.
know, he never told me that we were gonna be reduced until I
I
called.
understand you personally didn't know about it.
Okay,
That means that does not mean it was unknowable, or that you shouldn't have known about it, or that the Board of Education shouldn't have told you about it.
okay.
So that's my question. If the Board of Education files a report with the state of Connecticut that one would reasonably expect would reduce substantially the amount of our reimbursement for a state reimbursement, why don't they tell you that immediately?
I cannot answer that question.
Why wouldn't they tell her that immediately?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well, you just heard the explanation for the first time, much as I did.
I don't know what you're talking about, the reimbursement. I don't know what numbers Chris Butler gives to you.
It's an education cost sharing grant that we received.
Okay.
And apparently, what I'm being told, this is all new to me too, we're hearing it for the first time tonight. The Board of Education, not surprisingly, has to do a variety of reports to the state of Connecticut to qualify for that grant. Part of that grant, apparently, last October, required filing probably a status of our number of students or some other factor which showed a noticeable reduction, apparently. A rational person would assume that if we had fewer people on a grant that is based on how many students you have, that would result in a reduction in our grant number, which is the kind of thing we would hope would be followed on a daily basis, certainly on a monthly basis, certainly on quicker than an annual basis after the end of the close of the year. I'm wondering why that doesn't happen, or why that didn't happen in this case, whether that was an anomaly or whether that is the norm.
We've never been reduced before, so, I mean,
We probably never had a reduction, a noticeable reduction I'm not even gonna ask the question of why we had the reduction, but, okay. So, all right, so that's one part of it. So ECS went down and we didn't know it happened until after the year was over. I also heard later in the discussion, I'm not sure which one of you said it, was that we got an increase in some sort of grant, and that's what led to a portion of the $500,000 overage. What's that?
So I think that all your questions will be best answered by Chris Botwell. So
Right.
I will take your questions and give them to Chris Botwell.
Okay,
Okay?
so I got one more.
Sure.
So we also had a new grant this year, which we talked about fairly extensively. That was created by the legislature this year, specifically related to special education costs. I don't know if we have any sense of to what extent that that must have had an effect on the budget, but I don't think we have any sense of what effect it had on the budget. So I'm wondering if that had some effect on this $500,000 surplus.
Well, I was gonna say, maybe I'm conflating the two, but I was tying the shortage from the one with the special session and the special
I don't
funding
think-
stuff that came at the end, but those are two
I
separate?
I believe these are three totally separate issues.
All right.
Now, we actually, what we did have a problem with, and this is something we really need to take care of before the next budget cycle, is there are a variety of off-budget grants that are received from the federal government, state government, that are not part of the number that we grant to the Board of Ed, and quite frankly, we know nothing about. I think we need to get a handle on those, because I have no idea whether they had any effect on, again, on this large surplus number that we have this year.
By off budget, you mean not included in the budget?
Yeah.
Well,
You
there's
may remember we
there's-
had an extensive discussion on how much money the Board of Education spends in total on special education. And we ended up with the answer of, we don't know, which was not a good answer, needless to say, because the money comes from different sources and is spent in different pots. And some of those are in the budget that we pass, and some of those are not, apparently. So that was problematic for us as a legislative body to try to figure out what was really going on in that budget. And although it's great that we got extra money from the state, it also made the total amount spent and the total amount needed from our local taxpayers more obtuse, more difficult to determine, because there were additional points of income arriving from unexpected sources. Okay, so yeah, I would like to know all of those things.
Okay.
Okay, moving over to back to the insurance, not the insurance, the lawsuit number. The transfer is 3.4 million. I thought that the totality of our exposure for that suit was 3 million. Is it 3.4?
it's 3.4.
Okay. Have we ever received a copy of the settlement?
Yes. Remember, John, I gave you the whole settlement the last letter. I did, Jamin's shaking his head, I did provide that.
was provided here, not just to me.
No, it was provided,
okay.
yes, as a whole.
No, I was gonna say,
It was provided as a whole. Yeah, it was in
It
the
was?
packet. I don't do, I would have to look what month, I'm not gonna say.
the
I
full
know I-
settlement, not just an indication of the amount needed, I mean, an actual
It was-
copy of the settlement.
Right, Tony, the final settlement document that we got. I would have to look, I can't remember.
If you want to email
I'll
it
take
to
a-
me again, I'll
Yeah, I
distribute it to the
would,
group.
I would love to get a copy of the, so in other words, so how did we have 2 million extra left over if it's 3.4? Oh, they gave us the interest back?
No, so we took 5 million out of fund balance, we
Right,
spent
right.
3.4, and then I made interest.
Oh,
And I did a reconciliation of the whole account.
yeah, I know, I thought they were still gonna take, I thought we were going to have the exposure plus interest.
No,
Okay. So they let us keep the interest, wow, that's shocking, good.
That was reported also.
I'm sure it was, I just, okay. All right, so let's go over to the reconciliation of the fund balance report. It's not a numbered page, but it says fund balance report on the top. Okay, so we go all the way back to the audited number of
24.
July 1, 24. And the 2,053,938, that's the amount that was left over.
Correct.
Okay. So we got almost 2 point, a little less than 2.1. You have this page 2 pages back, which is 207, 747. Those are outstanding projects that were closed at less than the full amount, right?
Correct.
Okay. Right. That's added back here somewhere?
Yes, if you look at, so we had 110, I added the 96, and you get the 207.
next page.
On the next
Yes,
page of,
because I had to separate it because
fund balance, and
it was too little.
all the individual ones. So C&R is the big box, fourth one down.
the fourth one down.
So C&R fund
Oh,
balance,
okay.
getting 110, 920, then she's adding the 96, 8.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. So that leaves you with 207, 747. And where would that show up?
It doesn't, it's in Fund 252, it's not in the general fund, it's a capital fund.
So we're still keeping that. So if we authorize a project and it comes in under budget, the money returns not to the general fund,
Just for CNR.
Right.
Like a project.
I understand.
Yeah, okay,
it goes back to the CNR fund.
correct,
Why?
because you guys put it in CNR and then we just use the
For
surplus.
for a particular purpose.
Yeah, and then we reallocate it to other CNR projects, so therefore we wouldn't have to take from fund balance.
We take it from the right pocket instead of the left. It just makes it harder for us to track, obviously. Okay. So, all right, so that's not in here. Okay. So, again, going back to the front page. The Gilead edition. Current year expenditures.
Those are from fiscal year 25, and once we close out the audit, those will all disappear.
Okay. Are they all, they're all done?
Yes,
Okay. So, right. Okay, and that's. So again, and again, as I've said before, the fact that these are all in one column often makes it difficult to know whether you're adding or subtracting something.
Well, when I'm
So-
subtracting, they're in parentheses.
I would have thought so, but that's not,
They are
let's,
in
let's,
parentheses.
let's see, okay. So, we're at 2053938 minus 267,250. That has already happened in this?
Yes, that was
Okay.
fiscal year 25.
Okay. And then there are 3 more projects which we've seen for all of our lifetimes. I don't know
Correct.
how long they've been
John
here.
Harriman is working furiously to try to get an answer from the state on the Willowbrook Road.
Right. And the Public Works facility, I thought we were,
We just recently moved fuel tanks and, help me out here, Tony.
Yeah, the work that was done in Pearson Park was part of that.
Yes, part of that project, because we had to move the current fuel tanks and everything to the facility, and that was part of what John Harriman had put in the budget.
but nothing has changed relative to that over the last,
I adjusted the
5 years?
number, I can't remember when.
It was at some point.
Yeah, do you remember? I did adjust it.
okay. I still don't, yeah, okay. And then we get to 25 fund balance used for mill rate stabilization. Did we?
Yes, we used 1450 to stabilize the mill rate, and the rest was CNR. Which-
1450, 14?
A million.
1,450,000.
50. Yeah, and then the other piece was the CNR piece, which was 588,
Yeah,
Some-
I'm trying to remember, it was 588 change. Yep.
yeah,
Right,
588 and change.
and what,
And that was for the CNR for the Board of Ed and for the town for fiscal year 25.
so when did we do that?
At the budget, the mill rate meeting?
For fiscal year 25.
Right, but that's not, so why doesn't it
Because
reflect that?
until we do the audit, I can't take off these pieces. I'm waiting to get.
No,
the-
but I mean, why doesn't it show as two different things if it's two different things? I mean, if it is partially rate stabilization and partially CNR, why are we showing it as all rate stabilization?
Isn't the CNR part of the budget process? I mean, isn't the 588 in the budget?
No. We take that out and we put it in the CNR.
It's in the
Oh,
general
no, but
fund
we had to
budget.
fund it. We had to fund it.
Yes,
Right.
it's in the general fund
It's in the-
budget, Dan.
But I thought what you were, okay. It's either.
How about we
it's e-
relabel it, okay, we'll call it fund balance for mill rate stabilization and CNR expenses.
You want me to separate the two numbers?
Separate them
That would
out,
be
label
great.
it, however we can best do it.
That would be
Let's,
great.
let's,
Okay. So I'm assuming if you take all of the totals here, that gets you to 15,33036. All right. So notwithstanding the fact that we had a $2 million infusion from the sky, essentially, we still, and I assume that sum of all categories is last July 1st, or is that a current number?
The 10 million, what number are specifically?
15,036, is that July 125?
No,
What day is it?
it's July 124, but the 60-day reserve, I am basing it on the new budget.
No. The number at
The
the top?
15 is based on 24 numbers, because it goes down from the top.
No, I'm asking.
I'm sorry.
I'm asking a different question. The starting balance, July 124, top of the page,
And then
right?
everything else that happened,
Happened in the course of the year, right?
correct.
So that you get to the 15,036, that was the number as of July 1st, 25? Or is it as of today?
It's as of.
it's all the activity from July 1, 24 to today.
To today?
Mhm.
I'm just I just wanna hear the answer.
Yes, till
Yes,
today.
to
Because we
today.
we haven't taken any action from
No, we
July
have
1
not-
till now.
We have not
I
taken any-
realize that's what I think, but I'm not sure. Okay, so July first and today should be the same number, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so notwithstanding the fact that we got $2 million, again, came in from the sky, over the course of the year, we are still $1.8 million roughly, a little bit more, down from what our number was a year ago. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, so without that 2 million, we would be more like 3.9 million. Right?
You talking the very bottom?
Nope, I'm talking about between the actual number in fund balance on July 1, 24, to the actual number to July 1, 25, the difference is roughly $1,850,000.
The
So,
16
so
and the
that's our,
15,
that-
John.
that's our reduction during that 1-year period, right?
You just adding up the 6 categories, the 6 line items?
No, well, yes, I guess I am, but what I'm saying is, our actual fund balance, July 1, 24, 16,867,000 and change. Our actual fund balance 1 year later, 15,036,000, roughly $1,830,000 less.
Right, but what we're not seeing or reflecting on here yet is the next fiscal year and what that rollover is. I'm
trying to
you're-
I'm trying to go
we're
one step at a
conflating
time.
one
I will get to that.
To the other.
Okay,
So-
so we're down 1.8. And if you, for example, as I think is rational, looking forward, ignore the 0.53, which of course, thank God, is not going to be reoccurring. Our actual change during the course of that period was closer to a negative $3.9 million. Right?
Of course, Ed, we
Yeah.
made a decision during that time to stabilize the mill rate.
I
$2
understand.
million.
I understand. I'm trying to go one
right.
step at a time. I will
Just
get
saying,
to.
we
You
knew
are
at
absolutely.
that time.
I
very
absolutely
good.
understand.
All right.
Okay, so now we're down 3.9 million on our savings account, so to speak. Yes, the next step is results from favorable operations for calendar 2025. As Steve would suggest, we're in the neighborhood of 2.2 million from that. Does that include or exclude the Board of
That
Education?
includes the Board of Ed, Steve.
Okay, so taking the Board of Education out, 1.7.
And as she mentioned, there's still open items that need to be closed
And
out.
give or take 100.
So, well, no,
Yeah, right.
I believe you indicated earlier on, your anticipation is more closer to 1 million, right? So,
Well-
until we,
Yeah. I'm just
Until
trying to go
we-
step by step.
until we get firm numbers and get it going, I understand the conservative, I understand trying to piece it all together. But we're taking numbers from here, assume this, assume that. We've got, this is what we know, this is where we're at. And it's all gonna close and come together. We do this process every year, right? We're not off timetable. This is, the audit's currently going on. We'll get the information at the end of the year, and this page will get updated then. So,
Right. And if I can finish. Well, because we do this every year, and the reason we do it every year is because the numbers are always late. And I understand they're not audited. Living in the real world, in most governments, most businesses, most homes, we don't wait for the audit to make all of our decisions before we take the next step. We live in the real world, and we have to make real world decisions in real time, like somebody's asking us for a couple $100,000 today, and we have to make a decision today whether we have an audit or not. So I'm trying to get a sense of where are we today? Unaudited, I understand, but let's get a sense of where we are today. So, do you think reasonably that our addition to the fund balance on the close of fiscal '25 will be $1 million or $1.7 million?
I did a budget variance report and I came up with $1,051,088.20.
So you,
And that
thi-
was based on the last budget reports that I had run.
right, so you think that there are in the neighborhood of $700,000, give or take, 100,000 or so, still
So
outstanding?
I'm running it as of September, you're looking at August reports. I'm running it current.
You tell me what month I should use. We just said
Yeah.
that there was no difference.
I mean, September isn't closed, so I didn't want to give you, because it would be mid-month. You're always a month in arrears, because
Right,
by the end time your meeting comes, it,
so, do we still have 700,000 in bills outstanding? Is that what you're saying? Or we did at the beginning of September?
John, I can send the September reports if that would help.
Yeah, I mean,
And, I mean,
I could certainly send it out.
yeah, and like I said, I mean, John,
Okay.
if you want, this is my,
Because to this point, if we have the report in arrears, and Sharon came out tonight and said, well, we're at 1.7, the next month, it's actually $1 million. I think we're gonna try to get as best information as we can tonight, based upon the reports that Sharon has got.
Okay.
So, if you wanna,
All right, I'm
send
done.
me, and
I'm done. I'm done.
I'll send it out to the group.
I'm done with just this summation. What we're seeing here, and it is obscured by the fact that this $2 million dropped out of the sky, is that we have in the best case scenario, reduced I've put ourselves on a position to reduce our ability to save money by $2 million over the course of this last year. That also does not take into account one of the issues that I brought up last night, which is that I said last year, and as the town manager reminded me, the last 2 years, we have set aside $0 of actual reserve money or taxpayers' money, or however you want to categorize it, for non-bonded capital expenses. So we are on a path to be $2 to $3 million in the hole for the next year coming up. So when we are making decisions about what we're going to do about capital structures, we should be thinking about that.
Don't you have to take into consideration that initially the 5 million came from the general fund, so it's not like the 2 million that it just appeared.
No.
5 million came from the general fund that was set aside.
It all comes from the taxpayers.
We,
I understand it comes from the
hold on, I'm not looking to get into a big, the money's the money, these are the numbers, this is where things stand. Let's go on. Jamie, do you have anything? Okay, cool. Anybody else? Okay. Sharon, thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna move back to the track. Do I have this right?
Yes.
Okay,
Sure.
cool. Do I just need to put a motion back on the table, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion for action to approve an appropriation in the amount of $201,570 within the CNR fund to remove and resurface the track at Cromwell High School?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the Vice Chair, second Mr. DeProto. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signal by raising your hand. Opposed?
Okay.
We just flunked the track? Okay. Moving on, report of the town manager. Go ahead, Tony. I don't know, yeah, they'll have to figure it out.
I guess I'm asking, because if we don't fix it, eventually it's gonna come down to, it's gonna be unusable, so we're gonna bus the kids if bus strike is over, to, another high school or location, because we certainly don't have one in this town for a track to be used.
Yeah, no, or if the kid ends up using it, gets hurt, and then ends up suing us and our insurance rates go up, we'll cost it from that side too, so. I think, you know, well, no, go ahead, Tony.
Well, I'd like to have some kind of, what's the plan?
Well, I asked for a discussion, there was none. What?
I didn't get a chance to, so, but
What do you mean? Did I not ask for
Yeah, I believe you did.
you went pretty fast. but-
I went pretty fast, I said discussion, no one said anything.
Well, I still like, under town manager's comments, I'd like to know what the plan is so I can pass it on to the superintendent, because eventually we're gonna close the track.
Oh, no, this is gonna be, yeah. I don't know, I don't have anything, go ahead,
We
guys.
closed the tennis courts until we completely, built brand-new ones, so we closed the high school tennis courts, and eventually we're gonna close the track at the high school. So I'd like to know what the plan is.
My suggestion is you have $577,518. If you would like to use that to spend on the track, I would suggest it. If you need more money, then come to us. It's not the job of the Board of Education to sit on a pile of funds that are unallocated.
Well, I can't answer that, because I can't answer for their money.
We've already started using those funds. The difficulty in budgeting, every single year, we have frozen the budget because the challenges around creating a budget, sticking to it when you don't know your special education costs. We're already paying for this busing issue. We're going to be paying out of pocket for that. We're already looking at increase in our special education students. We've already gone with other superintendents and other school districts back to the state because the requirements for special education are astronomically high and excessively costly. And we've already gone back to them and asked them for assistance. And they're not budgeting, they're not moving. It's been in the news, it's a public issue, it's been happening in our state. We are one of the worst states for this. So yes, we are afraid to go in and spend all of that money when every single year we have frozen the budget, every year. We don't like coming back for more money. We're asking for half of the track now with the anticipation of not coming back to you. This track is going to be unusable. We're going to have to tell our students,
Spend
the
the
rest
money.
of the town,
And if you need more, we'll probably consider it and grant it. I don't understand why, we're all here in this together. So I don't understand, the money's the money. It all belongs to the people in the town. Spend that money. If you need more, we'll see what we can do. It's not turning down, oh, I hate the track or anything like that. You have money, spend it.
I disagree with you. It's already
I'm
being
sorry.
spent. I just told you that.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, I have been in communication with the superintendent regarding next week's potential of a strike. It may mean also more police officers to assist with the movement of traffic. And the goal also is, as previously stated, to recoup funds that are expended both by the school district and the town of Cromwell with regards to law enforcement. If you're not aware, October, the new medical building comes online, and they will be having a grand opening, I believe, sometime next month. The Amazon property comes off abatement later this year, and followed up next year by the hotel on 372. Myself and Stuart have been working with the developers for 100 Berlin Road. That property was sold by the initial developers. The proposal now that is before planning and zoning is to demolish everything, including the parking garage, eliminate the townhouses, and build 2 5-story structures with amenities for 266 units and about 13 to 15,000 square feet of commercial space. We also have a number of other areas that there is interest economically in town, and we're working with those individuals also. All of our shopping centers have been upgraded, and the biggest stalls in both Crossroads at Cromwell and Cromwell Commons. Crossroads is a Mediterranean market that's in there, and shortly there'll be an announcement where the old Price Right was at Cromwell Commons. I believe that pretty much touches on everything, unless commissioners have a question.
Just if there's any update on the old red line.
That I did, 100 Berlin Road.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
Phased. I
maybe I
blanked.
should have said Red Lion.
I blanked, sorry.
I used the address instead. Yeah, that's going forward, and we're working again very closely with the developer out there. And I kind of like what they're proposing better than the previous developer. And I think it'll be a nice addition to the community.
Mr. Fidelli? Mr. Maley?
Hey, Tony, the, last night it came up too, the northern tier, and I know that's come up a lot. I guess, is there any, like, thoughts, like, on what an action of any kind would be? Like, is there, we need to acquire land from somebody? Is there something we need to change zoning-wise? Is there any?
No, the zoning was perfect. The land that is mostly controlled by one individual, while there is significant acreage by at least 2 to 3 other parties. But the biggest is controlled by one individual, and he has his amount per acre set. I did try to acquire some acreage up on the north end of Watchers Park, and his preference is that he would like to sell the whole piece.
Tony, does that include the Rocky Hill side of stuff, or is that considered a separate parcel?
No, that only includes what we tax for here in the town of Cromwell. And only on between 99 and 3, because he does hold other parcels.
So is there any date expected for the building and the Stop and Shop parking lot to be finished?
I failed to mention Popeyes. Well, Popeyes is under construction when the crews do show up. I would have to say that I think they're trying to button it up before winter starts, and hopefully shortly thereafter, the way they're proceeding, I would imagine that that they'll be open. I would also imagine that they're going to try and pave the parking lot before the plant's close. So, you know, they got probably a couple of good months of weather that they'll get the majority of it done.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, report of the tax collector. Oh, we did, didn't we? Well, let's get Brian and Sean on, and we can skip back. I don't wanna keep them. But no, I completely did miss it, you're right.
Good evening.
Thanks for sticking around.
Sure. So before I cover the current month reporting, I wanted to touch base on closing last fiscal year since last time we met was before year-end close. So we closed the 2024-25 budget or collections at 100.9% of budget. So we're just about a full percentage point above. We collected a total of $51.5 million for the town, and that led to a surplus to the budget of $473,000. Most of the budget was on past due collections, interest. The collections of the current tax was almost flat. Right now, to finish the fiscal year, I'm working kind of in tandem with the finance department, with the auditors. I've provided all of the documentation they need for last fiscal year. I don't have any issues right now from them, and I don't anticipate any issues from the auditor regarding the collection of taxes last year. Regarding the current year, we're into our second month of the fiscal year, August, so I'll direct you to the cash collections report in the package. As you can see, we've deposited $28.3 million in the general fund for the town. When you subtract the bounce checks and transfers and tax refunds, our net cash collections through August are $28.2 million versus our budget of $52.4 million. So we are at 53.81% of budget through August. There are no issues I have to point out on that bridge from the Munis report on there. Second document in the package is the trend line on the collections for the year. So you can see how the 53.1 or 53.81% of budget through August stacks up historically. And you can tell most years it's in that 55, 56, 57 through August. And so I pointed out in just notes with the package, the primary difference for the variance kind of historically or versus last year was the settlement with Covenant Living. There was a court settlement that affected the assessment value of the property, and the main thing that affected our collections is we had to refund the difference for the 2022 and 2023 grand list. So they got a tax refund of $586,000. That's about 1.1% of our annual budget for the town. So we've been in good communication with them, and my expectation is that that trend line on our percent collections that we give it each month will track about 1% behind last year throughout this year. So kind of going back to where I said, hey, last year we finished about 1% ahead. I think my outlook to this board right now would be about even, take that 1% down. So my outlook would be historically we're about 1% above budget, and I would say it would be a challenge to do that, and I would more look at an outlook of a flat to budget this year. That's all I had for the board. If there's any questions I can take.
Well, just for clarity, that 500,000 number you were mentioning with Covenant Village, that's the one-time return back. That encompasses more than 1 year, correct?
Correct. So that's the 2022 and 2023 grand list. They got about a $300,000 improvement for both years, so that had to get credited this year.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
Folks, that this was kind of a
One-time-
one-time
it's a
kind of
one-time
charge
thing.
to make it work, make it even, and then go from there kind of thing, so.
Correct.
No, Brian, as always, really appreciate it. Shauna, I know you're here this evening too. Do you have anything to add or anything to?
I asked Shauna to come here regarding the assessment. If there's any questions I couldn't answer, so I appreciate her coming. But we thought if there's any questions regarding the change in assessment that the board had, she would be better informed to help me out answering those.
Do you have anything off the bat, or you just want to take questions?
I can certainly give you guys a little update too, since a couple of things have come up. So, as Brian was talking about, we did actually have 4 court cases that were settled in that fiscal year. And, the problem always is these cases go over multiple years. And we don't usually give a refund, we just give a credit off their taxes. So by doing that, it just reduces the current years. I mean, it's not really a big surprise what happened, but because of, Covenant was a large amount. That one, it was about $290,000 a year. So obviously that has a bigger impact than all the other small ones. Court cases, right now we do have currently 3 court cases. They're all pretty minor, so I don't really see any big problems. But because obviously we reduce Covenant and all these other cases, the future grand list, the 25 grand list, becomes an issue. So I did look today, and we will at least be in the positive, it appears. So I was kind of fearful that we might actually be a negative, but we will be positive. Tony mentioned about Amazon. That doesn't come off until the 26 grand list. So that's the 28 fiscal year. So their abatement they have 1 more year on their abatement. Their abatement's $26 million, assessment dollars. So that's quite a bit. We also have the hotel.
Yeah, I wish that was tax dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The hotel also, the Marriott, the one over here by near Liberty Bank, that one also will get reduced. That's another couple million. So for the grand list of 26, we will have about $29 million more in taxable grand lists. The year after 27 is a revalve year, so then everything will change anyways. But so as I did explain to the council as well, if you can just get through the 1 more year, this upcoming budget year, which is really the 27, the 28 should really be looking much better. The cars, we should go back up. Last year we went down, and personal property always goes up. But so the grand list is doing well, but it would have been much better without those court cases. But it's not a big surprise, and I'm just like Brian did ask me and Tony asked me, just in case you guys had any particular questions that I could answer, I came, but I figured I'd give you a little update.
No, appreciate it. Start this with anything for Brian or Shauna?
Hey, Sean, thank you. And I think it's a pretty obvious question. Things kind of go up and down. Like I said, Amazon will be on the books more, other things, all sorts of moving parts. So appreciate everything you try to do to keep track of all of it. But for Covenant, basically, because their assessment's down, so each year going forward, in essence, they're going to just be on the books less until the next assessment. And that'll be another discussion or whatever will happen, whatever shakes out when it happens is what'll happen, which could be true of Amazon, could be true of anybody.
Exactly.
Right, in the end.
Historically, Covenant does always usually take us to court. So they're always taking us to court. It's a special use property, so.
Okay, interesting, thank you.
But yes, their assessment's already been set for the 25 and 26 grand list.
Thank you. So there's no other large issues kind of hanging out there now that Covenant is solved, or are we still
No,
working on
like
other-
I said, I have currently 3 court cases that are active. They're all pretty small, so.
relative to what we
Yeah.
just had in Covenant?
Yes.
Okay.
So actually, 2 of them was a penalty. So it's an interest, it's not even a value question, it's a penalty question. And the other one is an exemption issue on a very small personal property account.
Great, thanks.
Sean, I was actually surprised that you said that the motor vehicles went down. I know, obviously, the legislature and OPM has played around with what they're telling you to do in terms of valuation. So the net result this past year was a reduction in the totality of the value for motor vehicle.
Yes, motor vehicle went down about 13%.
And is that entirely due to the new valuation system?
Yes, mostly, probably
That's-
95% of that.
Okay.
I was
Of course, the
I
only
would-
people who talked to me were people that went up, so.
Yeah, yeah. The quirk of the motor vehicle law is that it's no longer a value tax. So everybody likes to say, well, I have a lot of miles, my car has a lot of dings, or the other thing was after 20 years, it says a minimum of 500, but now we don't value it, we take the MSRP. So the MSRP times 15%, and that's what it is. It's as simple as that. You can go get an antique plate for 500 assessment dollars. But next year, you know, like most years, people buy new cars and the grand list goes up on motor vehicle. Last year only went down because of the new method of valuing. I was actually a big person, a collaborator, I guess, to the state. I was getting calls all the time. I was the statistician for the state to project what would happen. And we gave them 80, 85%, 90% what would happen. And the legislators would just do what they're gonna do. And, you know, we can only recommend what we can do. You know, there was also a good thing about keeping the mill rate the same. And the whole goal was to have, you have a car in Cromwell, you have a car in Greenwich, you have a car in Hartford. They're all assessed and taxed the same. Well, that didn't happen because now there's a municipal option. So some people are at a different depreciation, so you can go from one town to another town and your assessment will be different. So much for making it the same across the board.
Okay, thank you.
I got sidetracked. Can I just say something? Sure. Thank you. I just want to commend my staff. We're coming to the closing end of the new school, and that was a lot of work for staff to take on the paperwork alone, and specifically Sharon and the finance department. The amount of paperwork and being reviewed by the town engineer, John Harriman, on the change orders that I had to sign. Some days I would have 30 pieces of paper in front of me to sign, and I just can't say enough, and I wanted to get it on the record how proud I am of our staff, the outstanding job they did, and you should also be proud. And specifically the finance department, they had a lot. And Sharon and her preparing for this bonding and the rating that we did on Monday, we, in my opinion, did an excellent presentation for the town of Cromwell. I see no reason that we're going to lose our triple A rating this go around. So I'm pretty confident, and we will notify you. Hopefully, we will know by noon tomorrow or thereabouts, and we'll let you and the town council also know. But I'm pretty positive, hopefully, that we will. But again, the finance department's been doing a lot of work, a lot of things being thrown at it. The new school, just the audit, normal course of business. Just within the departments of, operating, the bonding. It's just a lot of work coming from that office, and in my opinion, as town manager, they have been doing an outstanding job, or as we used to say, yeoman's work. So I just wanted to pass that on.
No, absolutely. The school's phenomenal. We're gonna get a great report tomorrow, I know it, and, you guys have been crushing it, so, really appreciate everything that you guys do. So, well said, Tony. I wanna go back up. We gotta approve a couple of, meeting minutes. We'll start with June 26th. I was not at this one, so I'll give everybody a minute, but I'll let, folks review it, see if they have any changes, and then, we'll vote, and then we'll do the next one, which should take 2 seconds, but I'll give everybody a minute. Was Matt here?
Oh, did he? He must have been, oh, his name's all over the place in here.
Yeah, so, you know what, there's a comma after James up top, so I wonder if that meant to be Matt. Sarah? Nah. If he wasn't there, he is there now. All right, anybody have anything?
Well, I'm just saying, all of these votes are 5-3, 5-0, you know,
Yeah.
3-2-5. Did we have 5 people?
Oh, the votes are actually, like I said, I didn't look at it in great detail, because I know I wasn't a part of it, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to.
But you're saying Matt's in here making motions and stuff? Yeah, seconded by Matt Blanchett.
And if there were 6 people, why did 5 vote?
Is it possible there's someone in the present that,
Well, I think, James, if I remember correctly, Matt showed up late, and James, you were put in, and then,
but then why would the vote still be 5, though?
We could put 6 on the
That's why
board.
I'm not, that's, yeah.
That was the July 10th meeting, Dan.
oh.
Yeah, the July one, yeah, you missed altogether, because it lasted 3 minutes. I don't know, guys.
Oh, you were right.
Willie James went back to being the alternate, so there was 5 actual board members, because he sat in for Matt, but Matt came in.
But then when we,
John wasn't.
I wasn't here.
when we see
Also,
him,
he would have, okay, then I can fix those.
Oh, you just think you just counted the present and went 5-0 instead of 6-0?
Correct.
Okay, all right, so, yeah. So let's have a motion to add, Matt Blanchett to present, and then, were all the votes 5-0?
One was 3-2.
1 was 3-2, so that should have been 4-2? Which one was that one? Oh, Jim made a motion for the interdepartment transfer for 310. If the motion passed, I'm assuming it's gotta be 4 then. Less than 4. Okay, so can I have a motion then to add Matt Blanchett to the present, to change 2B to 4 in favor, and all of the other motions then to 6 in favor? Is that appropriate?
Yeah.
so moved?
Second.
Moved by the vice chair, second Mr. DeProto. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain. Any other changes? Can I have a motion to accept the amended minutes? Moved by Mr. Mealy, seconded by Mr. DeProto. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
I also abstain.
And Mr. Cognano abstains as well. So that'll be 5-0, right? Yeah, 4-0. 4. I can do math. Okay, we'll move on to the minutes from July 10th. I think this is relatively straightforward. Anyone really see anything? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're gonna skip over L because Mr. Blanchett's not here tonight. Move on to my comments. I really don't have too much of anything. You know, I thought it was a good meeting last night. You know, I think we're in pretty good financial shape from everything that was said last night. You know, wish anyway. That's pretty much it from my side. Steve?
Yeah, no, I concur. Good meeting. Great to have that set up, and appreciate Tony sharing all the work you guys are doing, and good luck coming up the next few weeks on getting that bond all there, and hopefully good luck getting it in good terms for Town of Cromwell. So thanks for everything you do.
Good and welfare, anybody? All right, seeing none, oh, go ahead. Someone had something? Okay, we'll adjourn at 9:05. Thanks, everybody.